The who are you interviewing? Yeah, man, they look good, man. I can't front. Can't front.
Yep.
That's off field. We're talking on field. It's like the Walter Payton. Like he should deserve like the opposite of like the Walter Payton Award, where it's like for service community off the field. Like Josh McDaniel,
That's crazy.
and it'll be like you know how the what's it called the it kind of looks like Luke Skywalker or some shit like that. I swear to God, a couple weeks ago is when I found out what that was. I always thought it was like something like oh maybe it's yeah Star Wars some shit related, but it should be like almost like a statue like that. But when like the homeless like the hobos that have the stick the
Yeah, yeah,
bindle
yeah. The stick
with the
with
with the it should be like
polka
that
dot,
because like you yeah exactly bindle it's a bindle
the polka dot
yeah
windows wrap.
yeah yeah. Like you're getting out of here, Jack. Like, yeah, like you're gonna be waiting on the side, like waiting for one of those trains that got the open carts because we
Yeah, so you can
shipping
run
you out
in.
of town.
So you can run in the open door.
Oh, it's funny you say that because I actually started off with like mixed feelings where it's like, all right, if we, like if we start this, like if the Patriots win and they go, everybody's 1-1 in the division, that kind of it kind of like it's almost from starting from scratch again next week. You know what I'm saying? But but then I went on, I was like, yeah, the Dolphins are just better, man. So let's have a better team, just beat the Patriots. They start 0-2. We're 1-1, and we face them next week. And like depending on what happens, they're either tied up or we have a 2-game lead on them. Um, and I forget who the Bills face this week, but it morphed into that where it's like, yeah, enough of the Patriots, man. Like it's just like the way that they complain, like the way they do cheap shots. Matt, those are Washington. Well, I mean that's they can muddy it up if they do if if they take a similar path that the Jets. They have a similar defense. They got a stud, Emmanuel Forbes at cornerback. Maybe they could muddy it up and do something similar to the Jets.
Nah, not really. Miami looks good, obviously, but it's still early, bro. I think I was expecting more from them from the rivalry and all that, but Miami
though,
just
because
they're good, man.
I don't know how much more because I feel like they played a pretty good game. They just not good enough.
They
You know what
just
I'm saying?
they're off. I feel like Mac Jones is not good enough.
Yeah, I mean they had the chances. I wasn't expecting. I went into the game. I wasn't expecting much anyway. Um, yeah, I just it was like a wait and see. I didn't see much. The offensive line, the game plan, everything they did was just awful. I mean, it just seemed like any excuse you would make, like okay, she's coming off a short week, traveling across country, like it just seemed like all of those excuses like actually played into like how they did everything because it just felt like they weren't prepared. It felt like they didn't have that much juice. Like even the defensive line, it didn't feel like they had, that much juice coming off the edge. It just didn't feel right. Like after the Zach Wilson touchdown, like when it was like the defense didn't look like the defense. It almost looked like how the Jaguars and the Lions beat them last year, where it was just like, oh, you guys got this good line. Well, we're gonna take the line completely out of the mix, so we're gonna dink and dunk the whole game, and they didn't adjust to it at all. And the way that they barely ran the ball, they gave Dalvin Cook the ball in situations where it shouldn't have been him running the ball. When it's short yardage, you can't have a guy that stutter steps 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage to see where he's going. You got to get a guy who sticks his foot in the ground and goes straight and then figures out the rest. Like you can't have the shiftiness on third and two when you're like patting around trying to see where you're gonna go. That shit's not gonna work, especially with a defensive line like Dallas is. That they just got big boys up in there. They're all long arms. You know what I'm saying? They're all tall, so they're hard to. It was just a terrible matchup, and the offensive line did terrible. Um, I don't know how much longer they could. They're gonna have to shake some things up on that offensive line, but just a bad performance. Zach, he tried his best not to give it away until the end, where whatever chance they had. Well, they didn't have a chance anyway, but whatever long shot they had left, he threw it away. He was trying to make some plays, um, which clearly was the game plan since they weren't running the ball. But it was terrible. It was just like I didn't. I almost expected that. I didn't expect much, so I'm not that down because But if Sauce catches that and it takes it back, and they don't make that ridiculous roughing the passer call on Dak, like they got a couple bad calls, and it snowballed from there. There's nothing you could say. It was terrible.
Word life. Did you watch any of the game, or
Yeah,
ankle deep in Giants football?
ankle, but that gives enough room. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't knee deep, but I had the phone with the Jet game, and then I had the big screen with the Giant game. And at one point, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get off this Giant game and go to red zone. But I was like, let me just give them another opportunity. And I started watching from the second half, and I was like, fuck it. And and I was watching the Jet game as much as I could, but once it started getting interested in the Giants game, it was hard for me to keep both. So I kind of lost track. But I did see the Sauce Gardner almost intercepting it. I did see the Wilson touchdown. I didn't see the rough. I don't think I saw the rough from cute Dak, but man, I don't know, man. Is Dak? I mean, do we still feel the same about Wilson? Are we gonna stick with Wilson or?
That's the one thing I was waiting to hear. Flex gave a lot of analysis there. I didn't really hear anything about Wilson until the very end, where he said he tried not to give it away. But
I mean, they're like what we said last on Thursday. It's like you know they should get some sort of quarterback, but I mean, they're gonna have to wait a couple weeks. Even like if they don't get him this week, what are they gonna go? Maybe the week after if they lose again, like where the urgency steps up a little bit. But it's like like this is an offense that was tailor made for Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? It's like it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't mind playing it out because it's either two outcomes. It's either we get lightning in a bottle and he shows you something and then that's good, or if he's terrible, if he's terrible and then we get a good draft pick and we can use it on a quarterback or use it trade up on a quarterback or whatever to sit back or whatever, then fine. But this like I have no interest in like Jacoby Brissett winning 7 games. Like that does nobody any good. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just my point. Like I know that there's better options if Zach is falling on his face, which it's not promising at the moment. But if he falls on his face, he falls on his face. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if he's like if he gets a chance to maybe it clicks at some point as long as a shot that it sounds, it's just as long a shot as that we think that one of these backup quarterbacks that you traded for are going to do something or take them to the playoffs. It's just like it's a no. Like I feel like it's almost like a no-win situation, but it's just like whatever, man. Like I just rather play it out, and if we're terrible, we got a chance to move up in the draft. Or, they're saying that there's a lot of so far, they're saying that there's a lot of prospective quarterbacks that could be in the draft, and maybe you draft one of those, sit them for a year, and then maybe get them ready. So you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I'm looking at it. I don't feel like going 7-10 or 8-9, missing the playoffs, but then being out of reach for something good in the draft.
Yeah, I feel you. No, I feel you. It makes sense.
Is that to your liking? What do you think, Robert? Do you disagree? Do you think I'm being irrational? Do you think I've made some salient points? I know you hardly think I ever do, but just in general, my train of thought.
I think your train of thought is apropos, but I don't. I had more, and I don't know why, but I wanted to believe that just maybe. I mean, you. I wanted to believe what you were saying about Nathaniel Hackett on Thursday. I wanted to believe that kind of the shifting of whatever Zach learned from between Hackett and Rodgers, and the kind of the evolution of the team since last season. I wanted to believe that maybe Zach could be a little more something, and he's horrible. I can't watch that. I can't even watch it. I won't watch another Jets game the rest of the season because I can't. Yeah. I don't want to watch that. Like they're trying to hide this guy. That was a mess, man. That was a mess, and I get that the Cowboys have a good defense, but the Jets are supposed to have a good defense too. Where was this Jet defense at?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if Aaron Rodgers is in the game. We don't win this game either. The way that they played, like I said, they had no juice. Like
it's just disappointing because this is the reason why I was on board with bringing Rodgers in, but I was not feeling the whole entire let's turn everything over and give the whole team to Rodgers, and he's we're bringing in his OC, we're bringing in his receivers, we're gonna maybe let's see if we bring in Bakhtiari. I just always thought that was a little bit too much. Add to that the fact that they never they I feel like they told you with all the personnel decisions they made in the offseason, they told us, and we should believe them, if Rodgers gets hurt, our season is over. If we are Rodgers or nothing. And like I know people didn't want to. I know that people were all excited for Rodgers and excited for what the Jets could possibly do this coming season. And even when Rodgers went down, people were trying to convince themselves into the Jets could still make the playoffs, the Jets could still do this, the Jets could still do that. And even I wanted to believe that there would still be something interesting to get from this Jets team without Rodgers. But I'm starting to think that everything that they did, making it clear that this was Rodgers or nothing, this was Rodgers' team, and now Rodgers is not playing. So to me, whether people want to say the season is over, like I don't even know what that means. The season is over. That they're still gonna play the games. I just won't be watching, and I just am not interested. I have no expectations of the team, and to me, and I hate to say it, but they're just another garbage ass team to me
now. It's fair. Like you're going up from the outside. That's what most people are gonna think. But you know what I'm saying? It's like it's the same thing. If any team loses their starting quarterback, that's just what's going to happen. I mean, Mahomes, the Chiefs without Mahomes, that's a garbage ass team as well. Like I know, like you want to, and people want to think otherwise, but that's the truth. Like nobody wants to see Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Nobody wants to see Sky Moore. Like nobody's going to see them anyway. Like the two good players are, Kelsey, which would be a non-factor if Mahomes went down, and Jones, which if the teams are not behind because of Mahomes, then there's no really incentive to throw, and it doesn't open up stuff for Chris Jones to take over the game. So it's like, so it's like, what you're saying is true, but it's true for a lot of other teams, and the Jets, of course, is the team that it happened to. So that's what happens.
Yes.
It definitely sucks.
Now the Giants had a big comeback this week. They really, I mean, it was, I wasn't sure if I should reach out to you or if I should let it play out. The first half was looking crazy. There was something that made me think, like, to tell you the truth, I didn't think that they were going to come back to win, but I did think that they could at least put something on tape that would be worthwhile, like they could at least, put some offense together, maybe put a couple of scores, make it interesting, which obviously they did. They came back and won the game. But, man, that first half was very, very troubling. I mean, it wasn't too troubling for me because it just further cemented my clairvoyant prognostication when it comes to my guy Johnny G, Jonathan Gannon, best coach in the league, coach of the year, actually. If you ask me, if I had a vote today, coach of the year, Jonathan Gannon, 2-0 against the spread with a team that everyone has agreed is trying to lose games.
Well, it's not agreed. That's what they're doing. They're just not doing it from the beginning.
They're like, let me show you what I can
do. The whole quote unquote trying to lose games. People always act as though that is an organization trying to lose games and players and coaches on the field trying to lose games are two very different accusations. Jonathan Gannon is not trying to lose games. Josh Dobbs is not trying to lose games. Nobody on the field for the Cardinals or any NFL franchise is trying to lose games.
Yeah.
You can say that based off of the personnel decisions and the roster movement that they are trying to put as they're giving themselves as little of a chance to win as possible for an advantageous draft pick. But
Yeah.
Jonathan Gannon is not trying to lose games. None of the dudes that put in the pads on for the Cardinals, no matter how shitty they may or may not be, they're not out there trying to lose games. So you can say that all you want. Ain't nobody out there trying to lose games. The organization is trying to hand my man a impossible deck to work with, and he's putting it together with Scotch tape and Q-tips. So
that's a fact, though.
Coach of the year.
That's a fact.
You know
That's
what
a
the
fact, though.
problem?
He looks comfortable. Right.
You know what the problem might be actually, because basing off the halftime adjustments, maybe he needs to stop giving speeches at halftime, because that's when he gets in trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe his speeches at halftime are what causes everything to submarine.
I don't know about that.
Hey.
So you telling me he doesn't give pregame speeches? He only gives halftime speeches.
No, those are game. You know, because those are player led in the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
I see. Got it. Okay.
Could be.
But so how do you feel about the Giants? You got no Saquon Barkley for God knows how long, at least a month, I would guess.
Yeah. It looks bad. I mean, that sucks, man. That really.
They gotta bring in Kareem Hunt. Save the season.
Hey, I'll take that.
It's crazy.
What, that he's not signed?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense, man. The way he runs, like, obviously there's that, like if you took the stance, like, because the thing is, if you took that stance from the beginning, from college, and like you took him off your draft board because of the personal concerns or the whatever you have in terms of like his demeanor, the type of person that he is. If you scratched him off your board when he was available in the draft for 2017 or whatever, maybe you just that's what you still hold to now. Like, that's the only explanation, because he didn't show me like last year, and every time he came in, he ran like a ball of knives. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he showed like some drop off or something like that. Like, if anything, like Dalvin Cook showed a drop. You know what I'm saying?
Last year, Kareem Hunt had the most missed tackles forced per rushing attempt. The second most in the league. He was number 2 in the league in forced missed tackles per rushing attempt. But I don't really know. I mean, it sounds like a fancy stat, but if you see the list of the top 10 people, it just seems like it might just be a random stat.
Happened?
Huh? No, I'm saying I feel like it sounds like an impressive stat that speaks well to Kareem Hunt, that he was number 2 in forced missed tackles per rushing attempt. But when you see the list of the top 10 backs in that category, it's like, oh, well, none of these guys are really any good, or you don't feel like they're any good. So this is kind of like where Pro Football Focus, they throw out these things, these stats, and it's kind of like, okay, but what does it really mean? Because, okay, Kareem Hunt is number 2, and Michael Carter is number 3. Are we saying Michael Carter is number 3 running back in the league in anything? No. Let's be serious.
No.
No, Flex. What with Flex? Hold on a second. It's not. No. It's no. Just because he's a Jet, there's nothing extra to think about. It's no. Hard, emphatic, no.
But this is what you see, you don't let me finish.
I'm trying to help you out. Go ahead.
What I'm trying to say is, like, based on what the backs that you named, it just seems like those are the type of backs that they bring in a situation where something like that would be called for. Like, for example, you need somebody on. Yeah, well, like on 3rd and 5, Steelers game is on. I realized. And at 3rd and 5, you get a guy that you could throw a 3rd and 7. You get a guy that you can throw a screen to and make a couple guys miss, as opposed to the normal 4. Like, I'm saying, if that's what that entails, if that's what the other running backs that are on the list are all 3rd down backs, then I would understand why it makes sense. I'm not saying any of them are good, to be clear.
Okay, but I said he's not the number 3 running back in anything in the NFL, and there was hesitation.
Of course.
But you hesitated. That's why. Okay,
But
the
I was
answer
going
is of
to see-
course, and I'm trying to help you.
Yes, I was, but I was going through. You see, you are saying what you say, like whatever you're saying is a straight path. I'm trying to see what maybe the branches are saying. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
but the
Like,
only reason you're looking at the branches is because it's a jet. That's my point.
no,
Is that
but
if it was not a
Wait, was
jet, there
Kareem
would be
Hunt?
no branch. You wouldn't need to climb the whole branch of
So
every
name-
branch of the
who's number-
tree.
Who's number 2 then? Who's number 2?
Kareem Hunt. That's where we started the conversation. So
Oh, I thought he was number 1. Who's number
no,
1
I
then?
said he was number 2.
Who's
So
number?
moving on, are we gonna go through all the games, or what do you want to do?
All right, go. Shoot. I
So
said shoot.
the other afternoon game yesterday was the speaking of the Broncos and Commanders. The Broncos and Commanders had a real barn burner yesterday afternoon. The Broncos were up. What were they up? They were up by a lot. They were up 3 touchdowns.
21 zip, I think.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
up
21
3 touchdowns, and fell apart in amazing fashion.
Wait, but we're not throwing a Super Bowl party for the Commanders like we are for the Giants because everybody seems to be overlooking that one.
Who's throwing a Super Bowl party for the Giants?
Just like Dave Rothenberg, he's like, "Oh, that's an impressive win." Like, yo, relax.
Bro, I didn't even give my take on the Giants. Bro, that's not an impressive win because it's the Cardinals. It was good to see that they got back on it and all of that. They got back on their horses and they came and they fought. But it's the fucking Cardinals. The fact that it took you that much to get there is a fucking shame. It is what it is, bro. We're broke. Something's broken, and it looks like it was the play call because as much as they want to deny that Dable wasn't calling the fucking plays in the second half, just watch the fucking game. You telling me that man wasn't calling the fucking plays? It's 1,000% he was calling the fucking plays. And if he wasn't, he was micromanaging the fucking play call. So either way, he was fucking calling the plays. So I don't want to hear this shit. The guy was calling the plays, and Kafka has done that shit to me last year, where he just has these fucking horrendous games where he just fucking his play calls look like my son, my baby playing Madden. You know, like just pressing buttons, like, here, bingo. Fucking, like, Dabo took over the
Ask
fucking
Madden.
offense.
As Gannon.
Yeah, exactly. They took that shit out. Ask Gannon.
Now we're talking.
You
So,
like that?
he,
You like that
he-
Madden cover I made?
That shit was hard.
Yes, it was
Yeah,
hard.
but
I thought it was real.
They should change
For
the,
real. I
the
thought that
name
was
of the
on
franchise
Twitter.
after him.
Should put it on Twitter. But anyway, yeah, we're off the Giants. But yeah, that's what. Go ahead.
No, I mean we needed your Giants take. I didn't know that the people were giving. I mean, I listened to the morning show. I didn't feel like they were throwing a parade for the Giants, but
I didn't
listen
haven't
to
heard
the
it, but I know.
I'm sorry. I didn't listen to the show, but I just heard that clip. You know, where they you know what they replayed during whatever the day or whatever, and it just made it seem like, oh, we can't overlook that wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was impressive. It's like, yo, the first half happened. The game didn't start at halftime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. My thing is with the Giant fan base that is like told you Daniel Jones told you, like, nah, I don't care. Like, you told me nothing because the kid this year has only played well for a half. So don't tell me I told you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has, and it's the Cardinals. Like I told you last week before this game started, I don't want to hear it. Like, if we win, that's not enough, bro. We were supposed to beat these guys up, supposed to kick them in the ass, and for the first half, we got our ass kicked badly. It's just the fact that Dobbs couldn't finish a few drives. But besides that, he looked fucking better than Daniel Jones in the first half. But again, something's broken. Wink has to up that fucking defense. You know, I like Graham. Our ex defensive coordinator. You know, we got rid of him. We got Wink here, and his defense looks. It looks like preschool shit. It's like dink and dunk, and that's it.
I would have stayed. I would have stayed. Honestly, I would have stayed with Grant. I know he had a bad season, but when he got let go, but
Hold on a second. Whoa. Hold on a second. Last year, Wink Martindale was the man. He was a genius. Now all of a sudden, we would have stayed with Graham. Where was this
wait,
last
wait,
year?
hold up. When did I ever say he was a genius?
Well, I do recall several times last year, particularly second half of the year, you giving Wink Martindale all kinds of props for how he had reshaped the Giants' defense.
Well, this is the thing. This is what happens every time he goes to a team. Like even with, you saw how the Baltimore defense, they started, but once they key up on, like he does a lot of blitzing, and if they don't have cornerbacks that can be on an island, like his defense was great when they had uh Peters. Peters was fully healthy, and Marlon Humphrey was fully healthy.
Humphrey.
But when the Ravens took hits in the secondary, he didn't change. He didn't change his game plan, and that's why he got let go when he did. Because you can't blitz. You can't do that when you have, like in the case of the Giants, you have rookie corners. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep the same game plan. It doesn't work because people have tape on Wink Martindale's tendencies, his game plan. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what I'm saying. Like if you get a boost, but if you don't change anything regarding like the personnel that you have, then it gets stale, and then we've seen what happens before with the Wink Martindale defense.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that hearing all of a sudden we should have kept Patrick Graham, that's news to me. That one is interesting.
He did a lot. He did a lot with a little when he was doing good. But the other thing is, Wink Martindale is the type of guy which obviously the fit would have worked with Patrick Graham. I'm just saying, like, because he's like a Princeton smart guy. That's the type of coaches that I like. I don't like these like Neanderthal, like this is the football, like and just like football lifers. I prefer the other type because they're more coaches like that are more apt to adjust and like see what they're doing wrong and change. The old style football coaches are the ones that are going to shove the way that they do things down all the players' throats.
Like your man Eric Bieniemy.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's what happened. You saw what happened. You saw what happened with the Chiefs, and like
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl. I saw that.
But what I'm saying is that
what did I see happen with the Chiefs? What did he do wrong with the Chiefs?
No, I'm just saying that like maybe that's the reason where it gets stale. Like that type of coaching style gets stale. You don't change what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have Patrick Mahomes, obviously you're gonna look good. You know what I'm saying? Like we still got Matt Nagy. He got a job that he wasn't able to do anything with because he had Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not an outlandish thought, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm not. And just for the record, I'm not out on Wink. I was just stating that I liked Graham.
No,
so when
Graham
Wink
back.
came, no, I didn't say that. But when Wink
If Jimmy
aboard,
Graham can make it come back, so can Patrick Graham.
So
Back like Graham cracks.
Like Graham Crouch.
Yes. Amazing. Graham,
But yeah, but no,
he did there. Graham cracks, like Graham crackers. Genius.
I thought you meant Graham Crotch. But
Graham crotch. What does that even mean?
I don't know, but that's what I thought you meant. So anyway, on to the next. I'm not out on Wink, but he has to. I like the way he did the second half. But he just got to switch it up more. The defense could work. He just got to disguise a few things a little more. You know what I'm saying? But he got a few. He got some speed back there. So, but we'll see.
Okay.
We got the Niners up next. Sucks.
All right. Well, I mean, Patrick Graham went to the Raiders, and their defense has not exactly been lighting it up. So I don't know how well that's working out. But
Yeah. No, 1,000%.
I mean, they also
speaking-
got what's this called? Chandler Jones alluding to like some sort of molestation happening within the Raiders building.
Yeah, as soon as Patrick
Wow.
Graham got there. So, speaking of your boys,
That's the Graham Crouch.
the Graham Crotcher. So, what's going on with your man Joe Burrow?
Don't ask me, bro.
Because
I gotta watch a full game.
I am embarrassed that I was totally prepared to make my picks as bounce back picks. You know, the three big boys in the league for the most part last year, at least AFC, Chiefs, Bills, Bengals. They all lost week 1. I liked all of them pretty much in the bounce back spot week 2. But I went with Allen, and I could have went with my man Mahomes, but like a fool. I was like, there's no way Joe Burrow's gonna put up another stinker. Division game, he's at home now. He's gonna have it together.
What were you thinking?
Bum. Huh? What
What were you thinking?
What was I stinking? I was wearing my my Joe Burrow cologne. That's what I was thinking. And now I think he's gonna miss the next game.
Is he
I'm
really?
about to say he has to be playing hurt, bro.
Well, he limped off the field to end the game, and now this guy was asked about his availability next week, week 3, and they said that it's hard to say if he's going to be available. So
Now, yeah, because I saw him. He had the Theragun on the sideline, which is an odd move, in my opinion. Like, either go get it massaged or, in the tent, or do something with the trainer. But to be sitting on the bench and have your Theragun.
well, that's because he's a Bengal. The Bengals don't hire
Oh, okay, they don't
masseuses.
have
They
trainers.
just here take
Yeah,
this
yeah,
fucking
you're right.
Theragun and work yourself out, nigga. That's how they do it out in
They
Cincinnati.
got the chairs on the side that you gotta pay. The dollars.
No, the hydro massage.
Yeah, all the Bengals
Damn.
have to have singles in
They
their
got the-
pockets when they play.
They got the Planet Fitness joints. Damn, that's whack.
They gotta redeem a Bengal. They gotta redeem a Bengal coin at the fucking. You got Zach Taylor with a fanny pack with all these fucking coins in there. He trades them off every time he comes in, and then they go sit in the chair.
He's there with the old school arcade, the holster that they used to push the coins out. That used to have a mass stacks. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know, man. Cincinnati, that was not a good look, man. I thought, and listen, they got off to a slow start last year too, so who knows? They could lose their first 2 or 3, and then they could rattle. What
Yeah, I mean,
they won like
seen
6,
this
7
before.
straight last year, right? They won on a
Yeah,
crazy
they
streak.
definitely did.
So
They definitely did that. Yeah.
that is definitely a possibility again. So I mean, I'm not gonna. I know that I'm looking for an opportunity to jump Burrow, but I'm not gonna do it just yet. I'll wait. But
I'm gonna jump on somebody real quick because I'm watching both games here, and Kenny Pickett stinks.
Kenny Pickett stinks.
I think I can say that.
You can say that about Carr too. Did you see that pick?
Yeah, but at least that was a deep throw. He was going. This was just.
That was a medium throw, and it was to 4 fucking Panthers.
Yeah, I mean he just got. He just went to Pickens.
I'm not prepared to
Pickens
say
got
Kenny.
picked.
I'm not prepared to say Kenny Pickett stinks just yet. I'm not gonna say he's good, but I'm not prepared to say that he stinks. He hasn't even started 16 games or 17 games.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh my
I
God.
gotta. He
that
gotta
was
get
a
at
little bit of
least.
reaction. That was over the top reaction just because I saw the pick, but just keep
but
in
it's
mind.
definitely leaning.
Yeah,
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 it's
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
leaning. It's definitely leaning towards that, though.
No, you see, I
It
don't
is.
even think that's recency
Fair.
bias. He wasn't leaning towards that towards the end of last year. He finished last year strong.
He did. He finished strong.
I mean, if he
I
just
thought
was if he was just circling the toilet all of last year and just ended the season like trash and then started this season like trash, I would agree with you. But
Yeah.
he was
No, that's fair.
showing
That's fair.
noticeable improvement towards the end of last season. Now, listen, could that have just been matchup based and a mirage, and he's not going to be anything better than what he is now? Maybe, but it's not like we haven't seen him make any kind of improvements. And again, he hasn't even started a full season.
No, yeah, you're right.
I saw we fell into that trap with Sam Darnold. Because the last 4 games thing, and then we saw how that worked out. So I'm just speaking from shell shock experience.
He reminds Pickett he reminds me is very Mac Jones feel to it. Like, I don't know, it just seems like the brain is there, but maybe the arm strength ain't there. I don't know. The arm talent ain't there. I don't know.
So he's way more likable. I don't think he's as accurate. So he may end up as Mac Jones, but only because people like him and want to play with him more. But his accuracy is a little bit less. So I think it just evens out in that.
Yeah.
Are the Titans back? Oh, okay. Before I even ask, are the Titans back? Is Brandon Staley gonna last the whole season as the Chargers coach?
I don't think so.
Is he gonna make it out of the 17 games unscathed?
I mean, I can't see
Nah,
it.
I think
You can't see him getting fired, or you can't see him making it.
No, I can't see him making it.
The only reason I think he
I
makes
agree.
it is because the ownership is cheap. But I don't even know that it really matters, because even if they fire him, it's going to be somebody on staff who they're paying anyway to be interim coach. So I don't know that it really would cost them. But I know that the ownership is cheap, and that's why they didn't get rid of him last year. And that's why they didn't get Peyton like everybody said they were. Like, I told y'all about that in terms of the finances of the team last year, and why I didn't think that they were going to – everybody thought that they were the candidates for Sean Payton, and I just did not see it from a financial standpoint.
No, you're right on that. But, I mean, the only thing is like you say that they're cheap, right? But what would be the best cheap franchise move? What would be a better cheap franchise move than to – fire the head coach, but hire the offensive coordinator and make him interim head coach for the whole entire season?
Yeah, well, that's the
salary.
thing. If he was brought there to be the coach in waiting, then yeah, you could fire him whenever. Or maybe the plan is to just give him a couple of weeks to really cement the offense, because he just got there, and maybe after having been there a couple of months and having kind of solidified his stature with the team, then okay, we're ready to let this other dude let him go, get him out of here. But either way, even if he lasts a year, I don't think he's back next year, because I don't think they're definitely not going to win the division. I didn't pick them to make the playoffs, so I obviously don't think they're going to make the playoffs. And even if they do, I don't think they're going anywhere. I think that it's going to be time for a new voice in there. I think.
That court is bad, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're all in agreement.
Now, does this improved performance by Tannehill tell you anything about what the Titans can do this year, or is that just more bad Chargers than good Titans?
I don't know. I think Tannehill. This is what he is. It's like he'll have 2 good games, then a stinker, and 2 good games and a stinker. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, you're giving him too much credit.
No, but I was.
He's
literally
one
about to
good
say
game and a stinker.
Then 1 game and a stinker. Yeah, I was
2
literally
stinkers.
gonna,
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So it averages
So
out.
the uneven pattern. Yeah, you got it.
Yes, it's like 1.5. It ends up at like 1.5 games to 1 stink, 1.5 good games to 1 stinker. But you get excited first. He gets 2-1, 2-1, then 1-1, then 1-1. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's just who he is. It's like at this point you can't. He's
Yeah,
he,
and it's weird to
you
me though
agree,
because
he's
it's
shown who he is already.
yeah, and it's weird to me because the none of the quarterbacks on the Titans roster feel to me like Vrabel guys.
Yeah, they're I think
You know what I'm saying? The only one who actually feels like a Vrabel guy really is Tannehill, but maybe Tannehill a couple of years ago when he was at his best, like yeah, it made sense. He seems like he's the perfect Vrabel kind of coach. Don't make too many mistakes. He's a little mobile, but now his mobility is non-existent. All he does is make mistakes. But Malik Willis does not feel very Vrabel-y to me. And really, I mean, I haven't seen anything from this guy. I want to say Hooker, but I know it's not Hooker. It's Will Levis. But I want to say Hooker for some reason. I don't know why I want to make him a Titan. But I don't know anything about Will Levis. But to me, that doesn't feel like a Vrabel guy neither.
I think he feels a little bit more like a Vrabel guy just because he's got the size.
Yeah.
He does have decent size or whatever, but I like when you say Vrabel quarterback, it just made me think of Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones feels like a Vrabel quarterback.
Hell yeah, for sure.
That's why I think that would be
quintessential Vrabel guy.
A dream matchup. He'd run him into the ground. He'd have six very good years, but then, like Cam Newton style, just fall off a cliff.
Word.
It's so funny you say that because at one point that was my highest feeling for Daniel Jones was a Tannehill.
Mm.
And I think that has changed a little bit. But I haven't really found my feeling for Daniel Jones right now. But at one point I was like, I'll be happy if he ends up like fucking like a Tannehill.
Okay, so Green Bay, Atlanta. I got to tell you, there was a point during that game where I wanted to, because I know you're. Well, I don't know now that you are in the South. I don't know if the Atlanta's still your South team. I think Jacksonville's probably more your South team, but maybe your NFC South team. But
Atlanta, Jacksonville, that's right there, baby.
Yeah, that's true. But I was gonna be like, yo, I listened to so much off preseason and off-season hype about this Atlanta team, and the division is wide open. And I heard the one thing that I do not see, and I'm sorry to say this, I keep hearing that this guy Arthur Smith is this great coach. I don't see it. I don't see genius coach. What am I missing? Help me out.
I don't know. I mean, let's focus.
Are we talking about from the defensive standpoint? Is that
well,
what
he
it
wasn't.
is?
He wasn't a defensive coach.
That's
so.
what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, what is it like? He's his calling card, for as far as I understand, is supposed to be offense, and there have been so many questions for this Atlanta offense for me for the last 2 years, between the clumsy usage of the backfield last year, the clumsy picking and then not usage of Kyle Pitts, and the quarterback situation that is just never going to get you anywhere. I mean, the idea that Desmond Ridder was going to be something is, I mean, listen, we haven't seen that much of the kid, but man, he does not look he looks very far away. Let's just put it that way.
And he's not a kid, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I feel like he was
being generous
in
by
college
calling him
for a
a kid. Yeah, I just don't like. I was going into this season expecting, based on all of the things that I heard, I was expecting to see an Atlanta team that was going to take a significant step, particularly on offense, and really be kind of like a force to be reckoned with in the NFC South. And in 2 games, I've been very underwhelmed. They should have lost that game to Green Bay at home, and Green Bay that's not a great team. Like, Green Bay, I think, is going to be a little bit better than people might have thought going into the year. But Green Bay's not some you should handle Green Bay at home. You shouldn't have to squeak out that type of win against Green Bay. Not if you're like this team that's coming on the come.
Yeah. Oh.
I could even like it's almost similar to the way that I look at the Giants, because I think a lot of people kind of were wanting to see if the Giants were going to build upon what they did last year and take a step forward and kind of come out the gates this year, kind of having digested everything that they accomplished last year, and the whole Dable philosophy and the culture and all this other shit. I thought the Giants were going to come out. And the crazy thing to me, not to go back to the Giants, but the crazy thing to me is that the last thing I expected that the Giants' issues would be personnel, be the roster. I didn't think it was going to be so many questions about the preparation, because that was what they leaned on all last year, and that's why everybody was so impressed, Coach of the Year. So I thought going into this year, it was not a question about whether or not they have the right coach or whether or not the coaching moves and decisions are going to be proper. I thought it was going to be more of a question of, do they have the guys? Do they have the horses to kind of, take that step and be competitive with the Cowboys and the Eagles? And maybe they haven't, but it just looks like they not only don't have the roster pieces, but they also, I'm questioning some of the preparation and decision making. And similarly, going back to what I was saying about Atlanta, I feel like Atlanta was a team similarly that I was thinking was going to build upon some of the good things that they did last year, and everybody was kind of talking about how that division is wide open and they could take a step. And through 2 games, I have not seen a team that's taken any step.
Yeah.
I mean, they bypassed, quarterbacks. Kyle Pitts, number 4 pick. Drake London, number 8 pick, if I'm not mistaken. And Bijan Robinson, number 5 pick.
Yeah.
So it's like you literally should have triplets.
Yeah.
Right now. You know what I'm saying?
No, exactly.
In the first game, Drake London, I don't even think was targeted. The second game, well, they did in the second game where, he had a couple big catches.
What they have right now should be reminiscent of the LT Antonio Gates, Vincent Jackson Chargers. That's what they should have right now.
And, I look up Kyle Pitts was dropping a pass or got hit and jarred it loose. It's like, enough with Kyle Pitts, Like, that's he's not who everybody thought that he was going to be. He was a unicorn. You know what I'm saying? He was supposed to be like a game changer, like something like that. Maybe it could have something to do with that it's not a good fit with Arthur Smith, because like with the tight ends that he's used in his path when he was with the Titans was a little bit different. They were more like bigger stacked up guys. They weren't like the running down like a tall wide receiver. But I mean, you have everything you need on offense besides obviously the quarterback. But you punted on the quarterback to draft all of those guys. You know what I'm saying?
And they weren't even in on any of the free agents either. There was no. You didn't hear about them talking to Carr or talking to any of these guys.
And the thing is, like when you have that like, okay, you drafted a running back that high. You have a wide receiver who you picked over Garrett Wilson. You have a tight end that you picked number 4, which is one of the highest drafted tight ends ever of all time. Like, I think there may have been one that got drafted number 2 overall, but I think he's the second highest picked tight end of all time.
Yeah, he's up. Where did because it's starting to remind me of this guy, the guy who's now hosting the challenge reunions. My guy, what's his name? Vernon Davis. Where did he get drafted? He was definitely a first rounder. I
think he was the 5th. He might have been a 5th or 11th. Those two
Yeah,
numbers stick in my
he
head.
was definitely top or early in the first round. I remember, and I remember hearing a lot of the similar things about him. That he's a unicorn. That he's got the combination of size and speed and catching ability. He's gonna be unstoppable at tight end, and that never really seemed to. I mean, he had a fine career, but he was
That's what
not.
I'm saying. At least he's shown way more than what Kyle Pitts has shown up to now.
Yeah,
And the thing about that is, it's like, so why did you draft if you were going to go with no quarterback? Why would you draft all those high picks? Use all those high picks at skill positions while they were getting paid because you drafted them as positions in the draft where they should be superstars. So if you're drafting them that high, you don't have to pay for them at superstar prices at the moment. So theoretically, you would use that money to invest in a quarterback so that they can highlight the skills that you thought that those players had. So, but you're doing neither. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't draft defense. You know what I'm saying? You didn't draft an edge rusher. An edge rusher is plays on the other. He gets money regardless. He gets stats regardless. But you drafted 3 players that are quarterback reliant, and you don't invest in quarterback. It makes no goddamn sense.
yeah. I don't know, man. You're 100% right. It seems like they just did the whole thing backwards. Like let's get these skill position players and these weapons with no quarterback, so that this way, by the time we get the quarterback, they're gonna be gone because we're gonna have to pay them. Like makes no sense.
Word.
So I'm out on the Falcons. I mean, I know it's early, but I was dubious about whether or not they were going to take all these steps that people were, talking about in the offseason anyway. And now I'm just out on them. And if they start to kind of pick up some impressive wins, maybe I'll gain some interest. But I think that I mean, we'll see what happens with this game with the Saints and the Panthers. But right now, it looks like it's the Buccaneers division to lose.
Hey,
as
man.
crazy as that sounds.
Yeah. It does.
And then that just leaves Seattle, Detroit. That ended up being a shootout, and now I'm gonna have to end up not writing a letter to Geno Smith, or Geno Smith is gonna end up not writing a letter to me. But I don't know. The funny thing is that they played last year, and it was a very similar game, similar shootout. That's why I was glad. I was happy I took the over and comfortably hit the over on that because it was way too low. Speaking of the over in that game, just for future reference, an interesting stat that I heard about the Lions, particularly at home. I don't know if you guys heard this stat, but all of the Lions totals at home last year, not all, 7 of 8 totals over 50. And usually their total number is below 50. It's usually like high 40s.
Mm-hmm.
So if you catch a home Lions total that's under 50 with a decent offense on the other side, I would say play the over, because 7 out of 8 home games last year went over 50, just for future reference. But that was an exciting game, and I hope that they can build upon that, and they can kind of. I think it would be exciting to see Geno leading Seattle as a NFC contender, and we'll see what the Lions end up doing. The Lions are another team like the, not as much as the Falcons, but like the Falcons, that came into the season with a lot of hype that I was like, I'll wait and see on that one.
Yeah.
I missed it. Damn.
I told you.
Oh, you did. You told me. You did. You called that one, but I was not in opposition with you there. What do we think about Houston and Indianapolis? Is Gardner Minshew the future or what?
I think they got a good coaching staff, man. I think they got it right, man.
You think that this guy Steichen is the next one?
Well, I mean, it's in that division, like, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't have heavy hitters there. It's like you can ease, like, that's a division where you can ease your quarterback in a little bit. Obviously, the way it ended up, he didn't take Trevor Lawrence's advice to, maybe don't take those hits that often. But the way it started, he had 2 rushing touchdowns in the first quarter or into the second quarter. But anyway, he looked pretty.
Well,
he
hold
looked
on.
pretty good.
I need to take my "I told you" on my Anthony Richardson fantasy prediction. I need to drop my. I don't take "I told you so" laps very often, but I'm taking that one.
Well, I mean, he did look good. Well, you're gonna have to take it back if he's out for extended period of time.
No, I won't.
But,
no, he is what I thought he was gonna be, and I even said that. I thought that he's gonna be running all over the place. He's going to be the offense of that team. He's gonna be the goal line back, which obviously has extreme fantasy value. But he's gonna be putting himself in harm's way. He's a big kid, and I hope he doesn't get hurt.
he's already better than Justin Fields. And especially in the goal line, like when you're on the goal line.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate Justin Fields?
I don't hate Justin Fields.
10 being you want him dead today.
No, I don't hate Justin Fields. I just hate the way that people want to force us to think that he's a good quarterback when he's not. He's not. And
who had more preseason hype, the Lions as a team or Justin Fields as a player? I think it might be Fields as a player. People were talking about put your MVP futures in now. Yep.
Louis Riddick, man. That's what
Louis Riddick.
You can't be saying this. I know you want a job.
No, I got Louis Riddick's credibility right here. Where's it at?
You can't. Louis Riddick, man, if you want to get a job in a front office again, you can't be putting out these ridiculous things like that. And he did the same thing with Kenny Pickett. He said, "Don't be surprised about Kenny Pickett." Obviously because he's a Pittsburgh graduate, and so is Louis Riddick. I'm sure it has nothing to do with it, but like with Anthony Richardson, the other thing is it's like he's got those long arms that he could put the ball over like Peyton Manning or Tom Brady over the goal line. It's like he's a devastating weapon like when he's in the red zone, because you don't know what the hell, and he's shown to be able to complete passes, man. He's just got to stay healthy, and they were in the game against the Jaguars. Obviously they lost it, and I will say I think I overrated the Texans a little bit because they have not looked good. Like I thought that they were going to keep the games closer.
Yeah,
they not. I'm out.
I thought that Houston at home as an underdog against Indy was money. Listen, even if they wouldn't have covered, I didn't think that they were going to be 10 double-digit points away from covering and not even having to face Richardson.
It wasn't even that close. On top of that, it wasn't even that close. The reason that they were throwing the ball down the field just because obviously the Colts changed their game plan a little bit and took their foot off the pedal. But it's not as they got stomped. And it still isn't indicative of what the game could have been.
Yeah, I will say this just to give. I might be willing to give the Texans one more week to take a longer look at them, just because I know they were without both tackles, right? I know Tunsil didn't play.
I think they were with almost their whole line.
Yeah, so that's the only reason I
think they were without their center or guard.
Yeah, I feel like for a rookie quarterback and for a team that is already real light on talent to begin with, that was a tough spot. I still don't think that they should have lost the way that they did, but I'll give the evaluation. Yeah, exactly. I'll give the evaluation. I'll still keep. I'm taking 2 eyes off of them, and I'll keep 1 eye out the side on them, but I'm not focusing on them like that.
Same thing. Same here. Quick question. And only because I know if somebody would. You had right now. You had the option between Fields and Daniel Jones. Who you taking?
Daniel Jones.
Depends on the team. For the Giants?
For
Giants, maybe.
Okay.
For the Giants, maybe Justin Fields.
That's what I'm saying. Depends on the team.
That's the only team, though, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Every other team would be every other team would be Daniel Jones.
Well, no. There's one other team that I would say Justin Fields, and that's the Falcons.
Oh, yo, yeah, I forgot to make that point when they drafted Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Like that was the that was the perfect
Yeah, that was
for
the
them
pick
at
to
the
make.
time.
Yeah,
That
totally
was
blew it.
Georgia. You have that style of quarterback
Exactly.
which Atlanta
They
is
die for that.
craving. Yo, my God, it was the perfect pick, and it was the perfect pick.
And they
them.
could have had him under Mariota to kind of get his career started.
Yeah, man, it was crazy, and for it to be Kyle Pitts, like I understand, like I'm saying, okay, we're playing the outcome here. Kyle Pitts, Justin Fields. I don't think neither of them are good, but the move should have been Justin Fields, just because of what that would have meant to that. Like you would have had that whole community going crazy.
Oh, yeah. And he just feels much more like a Falcons quarterback than a Bears quarterback to me.
Yeah, man.
Like that, like that. Playing indoors and the Mercedes-Benz Dome, playing your home games there instead of playing them out in the freezing cold in Chicago. Like he just doesn't feel like that style of quarterback to me. But
yeah, man, 100%.
I just wanted to make sure because I thought I'm like when it comes to like the Giants, it's like you don't want to be a homer, so you kind of like question yourself a little bit. So I kind of wanted to take.
But so do you think that you're more of the Giants fans? Are you on the higher side on Daniel Jones, or you think you're more on the skeptical side with Daniel Jones? Like comparing to other Giants fans, I feel like you're not on the higher side. I don't feel like you're down on him, but I feel like you're more questioning of him than probably the average Giant fan.
Yeah. I compared to the average Giant fan, yeah. But I think I'm starting to feel like a lot of Giant fans are too crazy. Like they're not realistic. I feel like they got the blue goggles on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because I'm like in the middle. I'm like the jury's still out on him. Like we still got to find out. Well, most people are either he's garbage or he's the greatest. And I'm like,
yeah.
No,
I mean, don't apologize for being reasonable, my brother. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
We don't
I
have
just want to make sure.
Now
my man is on the other end. My man is like, give me Justin Fields is better than him, and I'm like, let's pump the brakes.
Nah, man.
He's kind of more like on the Daniel Jones is garbage. I want him out of here. I'm tired of him.
Well, the Giants.
I'm more like, wait now.
But you do realize Justin Fields is black, so that's not going to work for the Giants.
And that's what he says. He's like, he says the same thing about Mara. He's like, Mara's never going to draft Caleb Williams anyway, so fuck it. And it's true.
Well, maybe he could draft Caleb Williams because it sounds like a white guy name.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, if you don't show him a picture, of him, then you might be able to convince him into drafting him.
Word, Caleb.
Yeah, but he's right though. Yo. That sucks that the whole world knows this. Like the fact that we're just saying, like my man says it, you guys say it, I say it. It's true. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Well, I could go fishing with him on the weekends.
Oh, Caleb. Yeah.
Now Tampa Bay, are they going to make noise this year, or is that just are those results just a function of them playing the Vikings defense and the Bears defense, or the Bears in general?
Can they make some noise? Because I feel like they're going to start off pretty good, and like a typical Todd Bowles season, then it's going to fizzle out a little bit. I think it has, you know what I'm saying? Like I think it has to do a lot with that combo. Both Baker Mayfield and Todd Bowles are very good in spurts.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you remember, like, even when Baker Mayfield, like, when he flew cross country with 3 days' notice and came in and then won the game against
He won the Bozo of the Year award for Josh McDaniels in that game.
Oh yeah, there you go. And Todd Bowles is also good in spurts. You combine them, and like it synchronizes, and you both catch them on the same up, and they get to the peak. They'll be like, okay, they'll be 8 let's say they'll be 8-3, and then they'll have to face somebody pretty good. They'll get blown out, and then it's going to go down from there.
Yeah, my only thing with the Tampa is that I think I 100% agree with everything you said. I just think that maybe they might be able to ride if you say, I mean, if they get to 8-3, that'd be amazing. If they get to 8-3, I think they're a playoff team just because.
Well, yeah,
just
they'll
because
fall
that,
into another.
and especially because of that division. Like, I mean, they still got 2 games left against the Panthers. They still got 2 games left against Atlanta. And like, listen, Atlanta's probably not that bad. Maybe they split with Atlanta. But you know, NFC, especially that NFC South, I feel like there's some winnable games there. Especially, I mean, they went to Minnesota and won on the road, so maybe they're all right. We might see some. And the Rams, how about my man Sean McVay giving me that cover, bro? That's my guy. That's my man. I wonder how much money he had on the game.
He gets it, man.
How much money you think he had on the game?
Well, not only,
I don't know.
well, maybe his man's Al Michaels had to hit him up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He wasn't good.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't calling the game,
I was
but
gonna
you know
say.
what I'm saying? He was calling his main.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
you know
yo,
what I'm saying?
seriously, you know what my favorite thing about that is that Sean McVay has now introduced, and please don't take this as Sean McVay slander, because I love Sean McVay. He's my.
Yeah.
I don't think he's my second favorite coach of all time, but he's up there. He might be my favorite coach in the league right now. No, it's still Mike Tomlin, but he's up there. But he introduced us to a game-losing field goal. Never heard of that. I've heard of game-winning field goals. I've heard of game-tying field goals. He kicked a game-losing field goal. His team made a game-losing field goal. Never heard of that before.
The clock ran out. The clock ran out. How he kicked the field goal down 10.
Like,
He
yo,
wasn't gonna. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe he thought, no, he didn't, because you can't. Like, if he kicked a laser through the thing and there was 1 second left and they get, try to get a fumble, something like that. I know, like, crazy. He's obviously strikes me as somebody who's a crazy genius, and maybe I'm thinking a little bit too far ahead, where he, like, in his head he's thinking, oh yeah, we kick, we stumble, we get a fumble or something like that, and some crazier things have happened, which is great, because sometimes I think like a lot of coaches play stupid at the end of the game, where, like, in that same situation, they're down by 10, they'd rather try to run down the clock and get a touchdown, as opposed to kicking a field goal and then seeing what happens. Seeing what happens on the kickoff. You know what I'm saying? And I think, I think that probably wasn't his mindset. You know what I'm saying?
Because
wondering,
is there any circumstance where they could have kicked that field goal, time runs out, but perhaps there's like a penalty that the game can't end on a penalty, or the penalty is assessed on the kick? Because I'm trying to think of what rule might there have been that would have made that make sense, because I've never seen a game-losing field goal.
That's what I'm saying, is, like, if he's a crazy genius, there's more possibilities that can happen, where crazier things can happen if you give it a chance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe they get a 15-yard penalty, like the other team gets a 15, roughing the kicker or whatever, and it still goes through. They get to get a 15-yard penalty and get to kick it off, because if that happens to be the case, they do a kick in the air. They Puka Nakua catches it and goes down,
that guy, man, 20 targets,
and scores. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give it to him. What are teams gonna do when they have to do Puka and Cooper?
I think they're gonna be hanging with Mr. Cooper, probably.
Yeah, they got to call them the King Coopers.
Speaking of that, Amari Cooper was inactive this game, right?
No, I thought I just.
Is he playing?
thought he
I
just
just saw that he was
I,
potentially
I, I
been
think I
listed.
saw. I think I saw number 2. Is he wearing number 2?
Is he? I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I think he's out there.
I think he's
Yeah,
13.
yeah.
Who's
Oh, 3 was
13?
that a 3? I don't know.
Who's 13?
13.
I thought he was
No.
13. Anyway, last thing before we get out of here. Any thoughts on Thursday night? Giants are getting 10.5 on the road. Short week.
That's not.
No Saquon. Where do we? First of all, I don't think that line's gonna stay. I think it's gonna move. I think once
Yeah.
I think they might get more points once Saquon is like once the idea that he's gonna not be playing really kind of settles in.
Yeah.
I feel like
Nick
they
Chubb,
might get.
Nick Chubb getting carted off.
Say again.
Nick Chubb, I think, is getting carted off.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh no, damn. That's what George is hollering about. I got him off. No, you know what? Yeah, if we get more points, then maybe. You know, I really want to believe that we could pull off a miracle. I feel like we have one in us, like a big upset. But I don't think it's gonna be this one. Even yeah, I don't think it's gonna be this one.
It's weird though, because
I
all
was
signs make me want to say there's no way. But whenever all signs make me want to say there's no way, that's when I'm like, I'm missing something. I want to lean into it.
That's what what I'm saying. That's why I was like holding out for like the Jets, and because of the history of the Cowboys. Like anytime the Cowboys are like big and like, oh, they're gonna sweep the floor with this team.
Yeah.
That's when they shit the bed. And like,
did you see that fight? The Jets fans and the Cowboys fans fighting?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah, I'll send that. There was a video. There was a video of.
They said they were heavy down on the Jets fans.
Yeah, there was a video of these dudes getting bloodied up, blood dripping. Dude, guy's eye all busted up. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
I saw Texans versus Texans.
You can go to Philly, you can go to Boston, and maybe you got enough people that maybe can help you out. But I know that there was a lot of Jets fans in Dallas, but you can't be going to a completely different state and starting a ruckus.
From the looks of the video, I was surprised. It looked like the Jets. First of all, it looked like the Jets fans won the fight. I don't know how many. Yeah, I didn't see how many of them there were. But I'll send y'all the video. But the last thing I will say, I think that Giants 49ers, I think that might be a game where I try to play it like we were talking about earlier, where I sit there. If it stays at 10.5, if the 49ers get the ball and score an early touchdown first drive, and I can get it maybe 17, 18.5, that's where I jump on the Giants right there.
I will say this. I thought it was going to be this week where we pull up that special upset, but I started now. It's Miami. We're actually going to pull the upset on Miami. So this one here, I think we're going to lose this one, but
that's a Dable revenge game. He used to be OC down there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there a do we have a line yet on the Giants' next game after that? Because they play the Thursday night this week, and then they play Monday night Seattle. So long.
That's a lot of rest.
Yeah, a lot of rest.
That's not even 10. That's 11.
Yeah, 11 days rest. They're gonna be at home playing Seattle. I mean, it's way early, but just thinking about the way that these things go, especially if they get killed against San Francisco on Thursday, they might. If they get killed, I think they'll probably be getting points at home against Seattle on a real long rest. If they get killed.
Yeah. If we get killed,
that's also some of the mindset that I had. Like, in my head, I was like, during the Jets game, I was like, wait, are they mailing it in for this game because they have their mindset on winning against the Patriots? Because they didn't show anything really innovative on offense. The defense didn't really seem bloodthirsty at all. It's like, I don't know, like they were on a short week. Like, were they looking ahead already? Like, and that's also why I was saying, like, damn, I don't want to face the Patriots down 0-2 already because I don't think they under Belichick
Yeah.
they've never started 0-3.
Yeah.
So it's like which one's gonna win out? You know what I'm saying? So wait and see.
Belichick rather die than lose to the Jets.
I know, right? He'll do some. You might see him in the Bronx, and one of them projects on a Santeria, buying a couple of them, a green
Chickens.
candle, a white one, and I say, Hora Santa.
He feels the exact opposite of what he feels for the Giants, what he feels for the
Mm,
Jets.
yeah,
He's like, fuck it, I kind of like the Giants. Don't beat them up too much.
yeah,
Let
like
him, let him,
like,
Oh, and
let him
also
beat Brady.
McVay says the Rams are headed towards trading Akers. Where do you think a possible trade destination for the blown Achilles, underperforming Cam Akers? Any
Right there
destinations
with
for
that,
him?
right
it's
there with,
great.
Indy?
Go ahead, go ahead.
no, that Panthers offense that you showed me earlier, right in there.
Replacing Miles Sanders?
That trash bag that you showed me.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who the fuck wants Cam
Um,
Akers?
I don't know, man. I think when he's been a focal point and been like obviously this is some of the like with all players like this is the stuff that we don't see. You know what I'm saying? Like the behind the scenes, like the okay, this dude is garbage. This guy, like with the Carson Wentz thing, where like, oh, we never saw like why do all his teammates hate him?
Yeah.
Like, okay, then he goes on several different teams, and no matter what team he goes to, his teammates hate him.
Yeah.
It's because he's a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody likes him. So it's like, is that what the
Yeah.
case is with Cam Akers? Because granted, he's only been on this team, but even since the beginning, it just feels like there has been something where like he just doesn't like click with the coaching staff,
Yeah.
which doesn't make sense because that was the coaching staff that drafted him. Like I feel like it's almost similar to the case where like with Denzel Mims with the Jets, where it's like they changed the coaching staff that drafted him, and it just felt like from the beginning they didn't really click. So it's like it's just never gonna work. Like we'll try, like you could try to make it work, but in the back of your head, it's like, yo, I'm not. This is not gonna work.
Yeah, I know. And then when
Hey,
they brought
where
in...
did Mims?
No, go ahead. Mims what?
I said, Mims, that's not the Mims in Broncos, right?
No, that's Marvin Mims.
Yeah.
That's the
He got
rookie,
drafted.
right?
I
Yeah.
just figured when they brought in the new coaching staff that Mims would have told him why this is why I'm hot.
On the hot seat.
Was that because of the fever that he got from eating the salmon?
No, it's just because the artist who made that song, "This Is Why I'm Hot," that was his name, Mims.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, you didn't get it? Nah, I got it.
I thought it was Young Jock or something.
On that terrible dad joke note, we'll say goodnight.
Writing it down.
Enjoy, huh?
I'm gonna write it down though because I can use that at some point.
It's a good. Anytime you bring up,
Oh, it wasn't Mims. It was Mims. Right?
What does that
It
spell?
wasn't
Mime,
Mims.
mimes?
It was
Memes?
M.I.M.S.
Yes, that's the way that it was fonted on mixtapes. But if you
okay,
go into
okay.
Spotify or Apple Music, no more dots. It's just a word, Mims.
Oh, okay.
Lower
You see,
cases and everything.
I remember random things every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Not my bad takes, but you know what I'm saying.
You know what the
Well,
funny
you gotta
thing is that I was trying to remember who the reason why he was kind of front of mind was because I was playing I was DJing and I was going through that era, and that song came to my mind. I was like, who the fuck what one hit wonder came up with this song? And then I had to search the song title to figure out that it was Denzel
I've
Mims.
never forgotten.
I think he's Denzel Mims' dad.
I've never forgotten his name.
You never forgotten his name?
That's why I'm cut.
Him, Jaquan, and what was the other one? I don't know. I never forgot those two guys' names.
Plenty of them.
Jaquan, and the other one is Young
I
Jock.
know.
Or was that the original one that you said? Oh, that
I
was
don't know
what
who
Flex
No, that
thought
was
that
that
he
was
was.
what I
Yeah,
said.
yeah. But you're not wrong because young that same era and those like not to be messed up, but that
Oh,
same kind of
wow.
like I had that one summer banger in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like
Guaranteed
this
to
is
go
a
with that.
The
long
ringtone
list
era.
littered of names of people who had like that
That's not
one
even
summer banger in the
that's not even
2000s.
young Jock anymore. That's the when Rasputia is about to fuck
Word. Yes,
Norbit up
100%.
in the purple
Yes,
Pinto.
exactly.
Like that's the theme music
That's
for
what I
that scene.
always think about. That when that first note of that beat drop, I don't see the Young Jock music video. I see
Oh, not at all.
Rasputia chasing Norbit. That's what
Oh
I
yeah.
see when I hear that. All right. Well,
Uh,
Carolina's tied it up. They got a real barn burner going here, 6-6 at home
woo.
against New Orleans. I
My kind of
probably
game,
I don't
baby.
think I can legally give any play-by-play, right?
No, I think you can.
The YouTube channel gets taken down if you give play-by-play? No, I think it's illegal.
Nah.
I mean,
Really? No, I think
I don't think that anyone will know or care, but technically that's illegal. You can't do that.
I always see that. I always see that.
You can do like a watch party where you can watch the game and talk about the things that are happening in the game, but you can't give play-by-play. You can't just be there saying like you can't give a play-by-play like that.
Okay.
Like I can't sit
Yeah,
there
because you
and
can
watch
turn
the
the camera
game. Yeah.
because you could basically turn the camera around and like in that vein, like you could turn the camera around and I could show you what the game is, and that's like pirating
Yeah.
technically.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go catch this rest of this shit and then go to bed.
Well, enjoy with the Queen's shirt on. Oh, that's it. It's over.
Damn.
Man,
Nigga
he wasn't fucking
he
around.
just reclined it. He just reclined the seat back like Rasputia. You know what I'm saying? I just stayed right.
Told you, don't be messing with my seat. Messing with my car seat. Oh man, I think I'm gonna watch that movie at some point.
Yeah, I
soon.
think I need
It's
a.
been a
I think
minute.
I need a refresher.
Yo, word.
Need a-
That's that. And when I haven't watched it in a minute, that movie hits, bro. That movie hits. I don't care what anybody says. That shit hits. Fuck anybody who wants to talk about Razzies and that was the worst movie ever. Nah, that shit hits. Yeah, I don't know what y'all watching.
Oh, yeah.
Cat Williams with the Dipset chain. That shit hits.
Mm-hmm. Sir.
All right, my
Like
brother.
that was Cat Williams. Like that was like well, no, he had the Friday After Next. That was the one that kind of put him on the map. But this is the one that kind of turned him into a thing, like a stable thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's when like I think that he kind of his coming. What's the difference between a coming out party and put him on the map? Because I feel like it did put him on the map, but maybe his coming out party was, the coming out party is after.
No. The coming out party was the Friday After Next.
Yeah. So yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The what was the one that you said?
He cemented himself, but putting him on the map.
He put himself on the map with that because he was already somebody for them to put him in that movie with Terry Crews. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that little, whatever, those scenes or whatever.
Oh, I forgot that. I totally didn't even make that connection. I forgot about that.
And then you could see that after, that the Norbit, Cat Williams kind of went up a little bit. Then he started fighting fucking 12-year-olds.
Yeah,
and
then everything went to shit, man. He fell apart. I don't know what happened. But isn't he making a comeback somehow? Isn't he somehow doing something?
I mean, he's not dead. So I'm sure he's somewhere.
Yeah. I mean,
He ain't ringing
but
over yet.
well, hold on a second. How sure are you that he's not dead?
Because I feel like I would have heard about it.
I don't know.
He's
Heard
not
about it,
irrelevant.
yes, but like, would you be shocked? Well, let me not be crazy and morbid. Let me not do that.
Well,
We hope
yes.
that Cat Williams is in
Yes.
good health, especially since he did that fantastic that bit that he did in his stand up about Jacksonville that I used very early on last year, and when we were picking the Jacksonville games, when he was talking about Jacksonville, and it was funny because it made me think about you because it was so many of the things that you have highlighted about some of these inland Central Florida, Central and Northern Florida towns.
Yeah, have you watched Roadhouse,
The new one or the original?
the original?
Many, many years ago. And I say the new one. There was a new one, right? Or
I
am I making
I'm
that
not.
up in my head?
No, 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 no. I'm not sure if there's a new one, but at some point they said that a new one was going to be made.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. But I had never watched it, or maybe I saw some of it during like when I was a kid or whatever. And like how broadcast TV used to be different and shit.
Yeah.
You watch that movie, just watch it, and it is fucking hilarious.
Roadhouse?
Oh my god, it's fucking hilarious. Yo, it's so over the top. It's so ridiculous. And it's such an 80s movie. And Patrick Swayze, he's a god. Yeah, just watch. It's worth your while because it's not that long of a while.
All kidding aside, just looking at the movie poster tells me that I need to watch it. Because the movie poster that is one picture of him doing kung fu, one picture of him having sex, and the other one just a random car on fire.
Oh, that I mean, that's the perfect movie poster.
Yes.
Because that's the background picture is him, just his character, or a cool badass, right? The first picture is why he is a badass. The second picture is like the entertaining, like sexual part and the sexual tension of the movie, which there's a lot of. And the third part is why I said it was hilarious.
and hilarious is the title. Well, not the title, but the whatever the catchphrase or whatever the motto of the movie on the poster. Dalton's the best bouncer in the business. His nights his nights are filled with fast action, hot music, and beautiful women. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do
Somebody's got to do it.
Yes. I'm in, baby.
Oh, and also he comes down from New York.
Oh, yeah, of course he does. Amazing. Shout out to Patrick Swayze. R.I.P.
Yes, sir.
All right, my brother. I will see you soon.
Sir, this was great. This was good, right?
No, yeah, this
I
is
like
fire.
this.
Yeah, this is a good idea. Shout out to Flex for this idea.
All right, my brother.
All right, brother. Peace.
Be good.
Recording stop.